Story 1. For me, right after I had baby number 2, I awoke to my 3-year-old standing by the bed. And he whispered, "That baby isn't your baby. It's a bad baby. Your baby is in a van on the way to the airport. That's a very bad baby." And left. Story 2. A scream that's never heard. When I was in the nursing home, I woke up to another disoriented resident bumping into my bed with her wheelchair in the middle of the night. When I asked her to stop, she asked me, in the most polite voice, "How does it feel to know no one will hear you if you scream?" Story 3. Meeting the boy in the closet. All 4 of my kids at some point before they were 3 years old told us they played with the little boy in the hallway closet. 3 of them said he was a good boy. The 4th, my most, let's say, precocious child, said the little boy was very bad. Story 4. An eerie premonition from a 6-year-old. Middle of the night, sleeping next to my husband, I open my eyes to see my 6-year-old daughter an inch from my face, staring. I say, "Hey honey, what's up?" And she replies, "You're next," and walks away. Story 5. Allegedly home alone. I woke up in the middle of the night to my, then, 3-year-old standing over me. When he saw that my eyes opened, he whispered, "Mommy, there's a man in the house," and went back to bed. I searched the entire house and stand guard for the rest of the night. There was no man. Story 6. While traveling through Central America. Stayed in an old and cheap hotel in western Guatemala. Guidebook said it was where the campesinos stayed when they came for market day, but I was the only guest in a room W, maybe 8 beds. Woke up 3 a.m. to find the room full of guys. An old man was sitting on the bed next to mine, looking into my eyes when I opened them. I was surprised all those guys had come in without waking me sooner. But I was tired and went back to sleep. Woke up a couple hours later, and there was no sign of anyone. Story 7. It sounded like their dad. 2 a.m., my sis and I, on our phones in living room. Down the hallway, door of the bathroom Dad used only was opening. Not lifting our heads, we asked if he couldn't sleep either. He said, "Nah, not really." We looked up, nobody was there. Next day, Dad said he never went to the bathroom. Story 8. Alone in the outback. Heard footsteps circling our car very close in the middle of the night in the outback where there shouldn't be anyone around. At the time I thought it had to be a crazy person, which was bad enough. But in the morning there were no footprints, which was a lot worse. Story 9. There's something in the walls. Related? My son used to say that the prickles lived in his walls. The prickles were, he said, monsters made of all teeth that crawled through the pipes at night, searching. Recently he told me the prickles don't come anymore, because the baby scared them away when she was born. Story 10. The sound of footsteps late at night. Woken up by toddler pitter-pattering up to the side of the bed. I was tired and didn't want to deal with getting up, so was putting off opening my eyes and dealing with reality for as long as possible. Until it started feeling odd that he hadn't said anything. Opened my eyes and, no kid. Went through to his room sound asleep. I was super creeped out and didn't want to go back to my room, so slept in his bed with him instead. Well, tried to sleep. Story 11. Ready for bedtime. Our house was built in 1911. When we first moved in, my son's room was in the original boys' room. After about a week, my son asked me to tell the nice old man to stop putting the covers on him because he gets hot at night. Story 12. Just playing with fire. Went to the 4-year-old's preschool for pickup with the 2.5 years old. Got to the classroom, where 2.5-year-old had never been, and 2.5-year-old said, "Oh, I remember this place. This is where the fire will be." Story 13. A finger to go, please. At 18 months my son was getting his diaper change and looking at my engagement ring, and he goes, "Pretty. I take ring?" And I said, "No, buddy, the ring stays on mommy's finger." And he said, "Then I take finger chilling?" Story 14. No toes are safe. Kid 1 was 18 months. "Mama, can I take my toes?" He called, going barefoot. Taking his toes. "Sure, sweetie. Take your toes." "I don't take toes. I cut toes." I'd bite them. Story 15. Checking behind the radiator. When we removed a radiator that hadn't been moved in about 90 years and found tiny child handprints on the wall behind it. Of course, our then 3-year-old claimed they were hers. Story 16. Forever afraid of space. We were driving home from my mom's and there was a big full moon out the window and my 3-year-old piped up, "Mommy, the dark portal is opening!" And my husband and I wondered what eldritch horror was about to be unleashed. Story 17. Just a little family reunion. My daughter, too, started giggling and waving at the corner of the room. I asked what she was doing, and she said, "I'm talking to Grandpa Larry, my father-in-law, who died when she was 9 months old." I asked what he was saying, and she said, "Oh, he's just laughing and laughing about Daddy." Story 18. Dealing with the other parents. When my oldest was about 3.5, she used to talk about her other mother and other grandfather, and would tell me she learned things from them. One day she was like, "They're coming to pick me up and take me to our old brown house, do you want to come?" And I was like, "Nah, that's okay." Story 19. Not a very welcoming house. When I was pregnant with my daughter, we were renting this very old, semi-abandoned house. Long story. Sometimes I would hear footsteps in the attic, or the closet in the guest room would creak open, and then I would feel my baby turn over in my belly. Story 20. Blame it all on Grandma. When I was 3 and kept blaming everything on the old lady, who I described to my mom as in a rocking chair, in a white sweater, twiddling her thumbs. I described my great-grandma, who I had died when I was a baby and had never seen a picture of.